Good, pause YouTube. How's it going? Have for you today a Wi-Fi battle in the OU tier against Blaze off of my Discord. If you guys do enjoy the video, make sure to hammer arm that thumbs up button down below. Also, if you may have missed my previous Wi-Fi battle or missed my update video where I talked about where I've been the past couple of weeks, what's been going on and what I plan to do in the future, because Let's Go is coming out very soon amongst some other things, then definitely go check out at least the update video. Would really appreciate if you guys watch that one at least. But a link to both of those will be on the end credit screen after the battle is over. So going into this game, I have a very cool team that I got from my boy Harris. Is awesome, using a very cool mon that is not typically seen in OU but has become a little bit more popular in Hydreigon. Let me know in the comment section below, guys, what is your favorite non-OU to use in the OU tier. For me currently, it is Hydreigon. This thing is an absolute monster. This is Darkinium Z modest, and look at my opponent's team. Hydreigon absolutely just goes in. We have defensive Slowbro, we have Mega Medicham, we have Rocky Helmet Tornadus, defensive with Leech Seed Celesteela, and a very cool Spadef bulky toxic Excadrill set, which can actually put in a little bit of work because toxic is going to be very helpful going into this game. And the weirdest thing on my opponent's team was the fact that he had a Slurpuff. I don't remember the last time I ever saw Slurpuff in OU, but if it's webs, that could be, I guess, a little bit annoying. But the only real thing that's affected by webs is my Medicham, which even then, it's not going to be that big of an issue. So I lit off with my Hydreigon thinking that I could just get a kill turn one, as I completely overlooked this Araquanid, and you guys are going to see that this thing is going to be an absolute nightmare to deal with. So I thought that liquidation damage to my Tornadus was actually choice banded damage. I did not check a single calc in this match. It's very rare that I don't calc during matchup. I was like, oh, that's like banded Araquanid, right? No, that's not banded at all. If it was banded, he literally would have just OHKO'd my Tornadus. But throughout this entire match, I'm thinking, okay, that's banded Araquanid. So just keep that in your minds. So I end up U-turning out here. As he brought in the Mew, I bring in my Excadrill. If he is defensive, I really don't mind if he wants to go for the Will-O-Wisp, because if I can Toxic this Mew, then that's going to make dealing with this infinitely easier, because I don't necessarily have the best way of OHKOing it. At least by going for the Toxic, I will be able to get off chip damage every turn and pressure it from there, as he actually ends up going for the Aura Sphere, doing a decent amount of damage to me. And at this point, I figured that if he does want to Aura Sphere again, or in this case, potentially set up, as it turns out that he is a nasty plot set, then I can at least try to get up my Stealth Rocks. Excadrill, realistically, outside of Toxicing this Mew and getting up rocks, is not going to be entirely too helpful. Like, it would have been nice to Toxic potentially the Pelipper, maybe the Swampert, but if it comes down to a Haxorus could potentially use this as setup fodder, and then I don't have any good move to hit the Araquanid, and as long as I have Celesteela around, Slurpuff is literally not an issue. So I figured that if I can just Toxic and get up rocks, I'm fine with sacking off my Dro here, as I do predict them to go for the Aura Sphere. I switch directly into my Slowbro, and this Slowbro has a very cheeky move in the form of Protect, and this works amazing with the Toxic from Excadrill, because with this Mew being at +2 special attack, switching into it is a little bit scary, because if he gets a proper prediction, then he's going to get a KO on either my Drill or my Slowbro, and if anything, I would much rather lose my Excadrill, because I can still keep my Slowbro to protect on what I think is a choice banded Araquanid, and I can still use it to pivot into the Swampert and potentially deal with the Haxorus as well. So I decided to bring in my Dro here on the off chance that even if he did go for an Aura Sphere, a double down would be perfectly fine with me, but he does just end up making the safe play and going for the Dark Pulse there, as he then brings in the Pelipper. Unless this is a Timid Max Speed Pelipper or a Scarf Pelipper, then there's no way that he should actually be able to outspeed me, and this is really nice because now I can go for a Toxic here. Even if he does want to go for the Defog, I will be able to spam Stealth Rocks after he knocks me out with a Scald. So getting off a Toxic here is very, very crucial, because I can now limit his rain turns and hopefully apply pressure to this Pelipper so he doesn't defog away my rocks, and I really need rocks right now in this match to give me a little bit of an edge. So I end up bringing in my Hydreigon, expecting the Slurpuff in the back to just be a standard setup set. I don't think he's going to want to bring it in here, and I want to guarantee that this Pelipper cannot get rid of my Stealth Rocks. If I can KO this Pelipper, he has no more hazard removal on his team. So I figured that going for my Black Holy Eclipse here was probably the best play I could have made, because even if this is a Spadef Pelipper, I will be able to guarantee knock him out because I am modest, and down it goes. And this is amazing because now with my rocks up, I can start pressuring him and punishing him if he wants to try and pivot around with his mons. So he's gonna end up bringing in the Mega Swampert here, and I make a bit of a dumb play by leaving in my Hydreigon. I figured that I really didn't need Hydreigon at this point, when in reality I should have just switched right into Slowbro. That probably would have been the better play I could have done in this scenario, instead of sacking off my Hydreigon here, because if anything I could have just had Hydreigon on the back to be sacked off to the Araquanid, or potentially outsped it and got off some chip damage with the Dark Pulse. Unfortunately, this Hydreigon set doesn't have the Draco Meteor, so the best move I had to hit it with was Dark Pulse. But even then, like, any damage on Araquanid would have been really nice. So I end up bringing up my Slowbro here as he goes for the substitute, maybe thinking I would go for the Protect, or expecting him to switch out. Not really sure why he subbed there, but he goes for a second sub, and this actually really scared me because I looked it up and it turns out the Swampert can learn Endeavor. So I was really thinking that he was going to go for an Endeavor on my Slowbro. So I decided to be a little bit cheeky here, and I bring in my Medicham thinking that I'm gonna bring it in on the Endeavor, Mega Evolve, and knock him out the next turn. But no, he goes for the Earthquake, and I just drop. So I feel like such an idiot, man. I don't know, like, I guess it didn't make sense for him to have substitute Endeavor, because then he only had either dual stab or one of his stabs with Ice Punch. So I don't know, man. That was, well, no, yeah, he had to have Ice Punch, Endeavor, substitute, and then one of his stabs. So yeah, I let this Swampert do way more work than I should have, and that kind of puts me a bit on the back foot now, because this Araquanid is not choice banded. So at this point, I'm still thinking, all right, this is banded, I can easily deal with this thanks to Protect on Slowbro. Protect on Slowbro, no, he was amazing, right? So he goes for Toxic, quote unquote, locking himself in the Toxic, as I then bring in my Celesteela, expecting him to Toxic again, and then that way I can either go for a Leech Seed or I can then go for a Heavy Slam. So he does go for the Toxic, as I then go for Heavy Slam, thinking I'm either going to KO Haxorus or KO the Slurpuff, as it turns out that he is not a bandit. And the fact that he's not bandit and doing this much why did that just do like 49% to my Celesteela? That's not an item boosted liquidation, guys. That's literally just adamant stabbed liquidation from this Araquanid. He doesn't have a choice band, he doesn't have a splash plate, a muscle band, or anything like that. This thing is just adamant max attack, and it did that much damage to Celesteela, and that is very terrifying. So I bring in my Tornadus here, expecting him to go for another liquidation, or maybe thinking I would switch into Slowbro and he could have gone for a Leech Life there. As it turns out, he has an Iapapa Berry, and at this point I started panicking, man. I got really scared because I need to hit a Hurricane. I need to hit this Hurricane, or else I'm gonna get swept by this Araquanid. So I'm forced to go for Hurricane here in hopes that my Tornadus is not blind. Luckily, he switched into Haxorus, so the miss there doesn't necessarily really matter, as it then turns out that he Scarfed because I tried to stay in and go for the U-turn, fearing that he would go for our Dragon Dance. So I have to bring in my Celesteela here. At this point, the Araquanid can legitimately just beat my Celesteela and beat my Slowbro if I do not keep my Celesteela healthy. And then, if I lose my Celesteela, Slurpuff comes in, belly drums on my Slowbro, and destroys me, basically. So I need to put all the pressure on Celesteela at this section of the battle. This end game of the battle has to legitimately come down to Celesteela doing what Celesteela does, hopefully Leech Seeding, chipping down his mons, trying to gain back as much HP as I possibly can so I can ensure living 2 hits from the Araquanid, because I don't think that one Heavy Slam will knock out Araquanid. I am faster though, which is nice, so I should be able to hopefully get out of that exchange with a decent amount of HP, but at this point things are not looking too good for me if I mess up even once. So I need to go for Heavy Slam here, as luckily he decides to be aggressive, brings in the Araquanid, maybe thinking I would try to Leech Seed there again, expecting to switch, or maybe go for a Protect, and this is perfectly fine by me because this now gives me an extra turn of Leftovers, as I will be able to go for the Protect. Now, judging from how much damage that Heavy Slam did, I'm not sure if a second one is going to knock him out. So if I don't finish him off here, even if he crits me, I should be out of range of where Haxorus is going to be able to knock me out, and that's all that really matters at this point. There is legitimately nothing Slurpuff can do to me without being boosted. Haxorus is Scarf, so it's not going to be able to knock me out. Even if the Araquanid had lived and had critted me, as long as he didn't get a defense drop, I should have still been able to live at least one hit from the Haxorus, I think. Actually, maybe even after. No, because if he got a defense drop, I then still would have got a defense boost, so I would have been back to neutral, yeah. So I should have been able to live any one hit at this point. As he goes for the Shadow Claw, I will be able to, in return, knock him out with the Heavy Slam, and with his last mon being Slurpuff, there is nothing Slurpuff can do to my Celesteela, and I will be able to finish him off with another Heavy Slam. And Celesteela is absolutely disgustingly bulky, but can we just talk about Araquanid for a minute, guys? That was just an adamant. See, I'm sorry, but I'm still completely just baffled by how much damage Araquanid was doing, dude. It did like 80% to my Tornadus, which is max HP. It did almost 50% to a mixed defensive Celesteela. Like, I get I'm not max defense, max HP, but Celesteela is very, very bulky, and it was just, it was crazy damage. So yeah, Araquanid, I will definitely have to use that in OU after this battle. So again, guys, let me know what is your favorite non-OU Pokemon to use in the OU tier. Comment down below and let me know. Make sure to hammer arm that thumbs up button as well. Check out my previous battle and my update video. And with that being said, I will hopefully see you lovely people very soon. With that being said, enjoy the rest of your day, and I will catch y'all eventually. So yeah, later everybody. Thank you all for watching.